All right, hello third grade. Let's review what we learned from social studies yesterday. Remember, we learned that row. This is our rows. These are going to be our rows this way, and these are our columns when they are straight down. So right here we would have row A. In row A, we have the pond, the pizza parlor. In row B, remember it's this whole section. This is all of row B. We have our fire department and our grocery store, part of our school, but not our whole school. So it's showing what is in each row. And then our columns are this way. So in column 1, we have our fire department, train station, and hospital. That's a lot. And then in row 4, we have our whole school. So remember, these are our rows, and they are labeled up here. So these are our rows. These are our columns. Sorry, I think it's just a minute ago I messed that up. But remember, why are we learning about reading a map? Maps help us to know the distances. So we know how many blocks from the grocery store to school is. So we're learning how far away one thing is from another, and it helps us find the exact location. Because if there was a fire at the theater and you had to call the fire department, you'd want to say, the theater is located at C5. So they know exactly where to go. So we're going to go over some examples, but we're going to be something a little different today. Instead, I'm going to say what building it is, and we are going to find what the location is. So if I said what was in row 1, as we went before, I have to find, column 1. I'm so sorry. If I wanted to find column 1, I know this is my column, so I'm going to look this way. Here it is labeled 1. Here's my column. And I could say the fire department, train station, and hospital is there. Now let's say I want to know the exact location of the hospital. The first thing I'm going to do is find the row. So I see the row is D. It is labeled D, so I'll type in hospital. It is at D for the row, and then what column? So I'm going to look here, it is D1. And remember, we can do that by, we see where D and 1 meet right here. So if I wanted to go to the pond, the first thing I'm going to do is look at what row it is. It is in row A. And then I'm going to look at what column is it in. It is in column 3. So I'd go A to the third one. A3 is our pond. So now let's try it on a new map. Then let's move our map over. So now let's say that I want to go to the park. Well, first let's go with what all is in column 1. So remember, here are columns, column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then our rows, 8, B, C, D. I want to know what's in column 3. So I have to find my labeled column that says 3, and I see the grocery store and part of the pond. Now let's say I say what is in row D. So I have to go to my rows. My rows are down here. A, B, C, D. Here's row D. What's all in there? We have a train station and a park. So we have to make sure that these right here are going to be our rows. Here's our labels for our columns. So now let's say I want to find the exact place for our diner. I'm going to first look at my row. It is in row C. So I'm going to write that. It is in column. If I go down here, I can see what column it is labeled. Labeled 1. So C1 is how I get to the diner. And let's try one more. Let's do the fire department. So I'm going to first look at what row it is in. It is in this row, which is row A. I see it's labeled over here. Which column is it in? Well, it's in this column, but I have to see which column is that. It is labeled column 5. So it is in A5. So let's go through some practice homework. So for our homework, they're going to be telling us a column or a row to look in, and we have to decide what's in there. So they're saying which is in column 3. So these are my rows, so I'm not going to look here. I'm looking at my columns, and I need to go to the column labeled 3. So one right here. I see we have in column 3 this whole, remember, column straight. We have a grocery store and a park. So which one do I see below? The restaurant? No. Police department? No. Library? No. Park? Yes. So then I'm going to click and press submit. And let's do one more of these. So now they're asking which is in column 2. So remember, these are my rows. These are my columns. And I can always look at what's labeled. My column 2 is labeled right here. So this is my column 2. And so we have the library and the police department. So now the police department, it is the first one. That's what we have. Let's make sure none of the other ones say the library. They don't, so we'll submit. But then after we go through our column and our rows, they're going to be asking for specific places. So remember, this is when we look for what's in square D1. D is our row, so I'm going to look for what is labeled D right here, and then column 1. And I see it's labeled right here, so this is 1, and I'm looking for D1, which is right here, which is the pizza parlor. So we're going to go pizza parlor, and let's do our last one together. So which is in square C2? So I'm going to go to my row C, and then my column 2, 1, 2, and it's labeled right here. I have my police department. So they're showing you how to get to an exact location. So make sure to take your time with your homework and have fun. Thank you.